Corviknight, the Raven Pokémon. A majestic bird that rules the skies of Galar, its lustrous wings striking terror into the hearts of its foes, while its intelligence and flying ability make it a reliable cornerstone to the region's premier taxi service. And yet, in Paldea, a menace has risen. 2 feet of pure terror, wielding a 220-pound hammer that can send rocks coursing through the air like meteors. Tinkaton makes its way to Eos Island to remind all birds that the skies are not safe.
Welcome to the Tinkaton Unite Spotlight. Tinkaton's passive ability is Mold Breaker. This ability has 2 major components. When damaging an opposing Pokemon with a shield, 30% of your damage is dealt as extra damage to the target's HP. On top of that, the hammer wielded by this tiny gremlin will become stronger every time it hits opposing Pokemon with boosted attacks or moves. It can gain up to 60 stacks, each stack increasing its attack slightly, with increases to the range of Rock Smash, Gigaton Hammer, and Smackdown at specific increments. This Pokemon also has a boosted gauge. It fills up after 10 seconds, remaining ready until Tinkaton decides to smack someone in the face. This boosted attack swings the hammer in a semicircle and will deal increased damage and restore 20% of their missing HP. If Tinkaton is hit by an auto attack from opposing Pokemon, wild or otherwise, the gauge will fill even faster. At levels 1 and 3, Tinkaton learns Rock Smash and Fairy Wind. Rock Smash has the user swing their hammer down, damaging and stunning targets in the area of effect. Fairy Wind stirs up exactly that, in a chosen direction, dealing damage while decreasing the movement speed of targets hit. Once your Tink becomes a tough, you'll also receive some buffs, in the form of 2 new moves. Ice Hammer has Tinkaton leap gracefully in a chosen direction, swinging a freezing hammer down to damage opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. Targets hit will have their movement speed decreased by 50% while also receiving debuffs to their attack and special attack for a short time. Ice Hammer Plus strengthens the attack and special attack debuffs on opposing Pokemon. However, bonking isn't always enough, and so we resort to Thievery. Thief increases the user's movement speed for a short while, increasing even further when moving toward a target affected by hindrances. This move also empowers the user's next auto attack used within 5 seconds, reducing the defenses of enemies hit, while increasing Tinkaton's defenses per target hit. If Tinkaton hits with another Thief-empowered auto while the previous Thief effects are in play, the durations are refreshed. While the buff persists, Tinkaton continues to go fast and their boosted attack gauge fills even faster. Thief Plus strengthens the debuffs applied to targets and the buff applied to the user. At level 7, the desire to bonk is rivaled only by the ever-increasing size of Tinkaton's hammer. Gigaton Hammer has Tinkaton slowly charge the hammer, becoming unstoppable for the duration of the charge while slowing themselves. When fully charged, or released early, the hammer comes down, damaging opposing Pokemon and throwing them when hit. The damage and throw duration of the move increases the longer it is charged. Mold Breaker's hammer strengthening effect will increase the size of the AoE at certain stack increments. Gigaton Hammer Plus simply reduces the cooldown of the move slightly. And if those pesky birds are a little bit out of range, Smackdown is there for all of your aerial sniping needs. Smackdown has Tinkaton charge power before using its hammer to bonk a rock through the air towards a designated area. This rock of entirely pure intentions damages opposing Pokemon upon landing while decreasing their movement speed for a short while. The longer the move is charged, the further the rock can fly, with the move dealing increased damage at max charge. If cancelled, it goes on a short cooldown. As per Mold Breaker's effect, certain amounts of stacks will increase the maximum range of the move. Like Gigaton Hammer, Smackdown Plus lowers the cooldown of the move slightly. Finally, with level 9, you gain access to Tinkaton's Unite move, Kiss, Bliss, Kaboom. This move is broken down into 2 components. Kiss Bliss, in which Tinkaton blows sure-hit kisses to opposing Pokemon, damaging and briefly stunning them. Using the move again has Tinkaton leap into the air, bringing the hammer down to Kaboom, a chosen location, damaging targets in the area of effect. Whether a Tink, a Tough, or a Ton, you're looking to test out your new hammer on the heads of your opponents wherever possible. Your early game starts very weak, so you'll need to play smart and careful to secure farm, stack your held items, and sneak in the occasional bonk for those mold breaker stacks. Look for opportunities to fight, whether alongside your jungler's ganks, while attempting to stack, or when defending your pad. The more Tinkaton fights, the stronger its hammer becomes, so don't neglect its training. As the game progresses, you'll begin hitting your power spikes and gain access to Ice Hammer and Thief. Both moves have their uses depending on the situation you're in, and you'll need to pick one while considering how it will enable you to continue fighting. Ice Hammer's debuffs become painful for the opponent in the late game, turning Tinkaton into a pseudo-support that constantly reduces the opponent's damage output. Conversely, Thief leans, or rather jumps hammer first, into the brawling archetype, letting them stick to opponents and deal increased damage so they can continue to break the mold. With these two moves, it's very easy to get into fights, but harder to get out of them. It goes without saying, but staying aware of your cooldowns and identifying when to jump into fights and when to live to bonk another day will set you apart from your typical solo queue inters. With Tinkaton continuing to temper its weapon, its trainer will strive to define its playstyle with Gigaton Hammer and Smackdown. Gigaton comes with a significant self-slow, so you can't always run at enemies and expect results. Taking advantage of bushes, well-timed eject buttons, and simply remembering that you can release the hammer early will allow you to keep fights going so you can knock out opponents. Utilizing the hammer to catch 2 or more opponents in the AoE will provide your team with insane value, enabling them to follow up with more damage or get away, depending on the situation. Smackdown has you positioned a little further away, using your rocks to damage and slow from range, though you can use it early to deal damage point blank. As your stacks increase, you'll be able to bonk rocks from the backline to their backline, forcing snipers out of position and slowing entire groups to provide better control for your team. As both of these moves are AoE, you will benefit from smart positioning to catch the most targets, gaining mold breaker stacks for every opponent caught by your moves and boosted autos. In the end, finding smart and creative ways to use your moves will enable the hammer Pokemon to make the biggest impact. For item suggestions, consider Eos Cookie, as it synergizes well with its missing HP passive, and Tinkaton loves the extra health to stay in the fight. Attack weight is also an excellent item, helping with their low attack stat and high scalings. The third slot is interchangeable, being anything from weakness policy to floatstone, or maybe even EXP share if you're feeling quirky. Wondering if Tinkaton is the right genre of construction worker for you? Trainers that love leaping into the fray with big hits, with Pokemon like Blaziken or Buzzwole, may find Tinkaton's hammer to be a welcome addition to the toolbox. Tinkaton is an incredibly strong Pokemon in the right hands, while your opponent's belongings will end up in the wrong hands. This Pokemon will steal from you. Please, please help. This Pokemon took my money. It made a hole in my wall and it stole For more information, don't forget to check out UniteDB for detailed descriptions and the most up-to-date numbers. Good luck in your future battles, trainers.